Doesn't mean I don't think it's also true. Choosing to be dishonest with ourselves and dishonest with our community is dangerous. And I know our church is far from perfect. As I pointed out to you all before, I still don't even have one private jet. And I have ministry colleagues in Atlanta that are working on their third private jet. So we have some room for improvement here. You all recognize that. It's essential to carrying out my ministry, by the way. But I'm grateful for this community. I am grateful for our willingness to be mutually honest with one another. I'm grateful for our ability to share our personal and our existential struggles. The trust that when we do, those vulnerable moments will be held carefully and responsibly by those we share with. I'm really grateful for this church's willingness to stand up in environmental care and rational thought and scientific exploration, even if we are sometimes challenged for those beliefs. I think this church plays an important role in my own spiritual life, in my family's life, and in the larger community. And so I want this community to continue to thrive today and tomorrow and for many years to come. And so for me, for our family, that means being honest with ourselves. It means being honest with ourselves about what we can give, and giving in a way that reflects the important role that this church plays in our lives. I am in no way concerned that God will strike me dead if my pledge for 2020 doesn't meet the right threshold. But I do know that giving in a way that stretches us, giving in a way that forces us to make choices about what we really value, that kind of giving actually gives life. Gives life to me and gives life to the community. And it's not giving that is based on an amount, but it's more based on the question of honesty with ourselves and honesty with one another. I think that's the piece that Ananias and Sapphira missed. And I hope that we don't do the same. Amen. Our hymn of response this morning is number 700, I'm Going to Live So God Can Use Me. Great stewardship sermon, a great sermon to offer ourselves and our work and our energy to the work of the greater community of God. So let's stand and sing together.
Time
continue our worship with this act of worship as we have a chance to make an offering of ourselves and our energies and all that we have and all that we do as we return something to God. So let's receive our tithes and offerings. So we're about to come in a few minutes and share in this meal, this practice of communion together. And I was thinking about, as we were talking about the importance of community today, most of us, if we know much of Paul's writing, probably two very familiar things that Paul wrote come out of 1 Corinthians 12 and 1 Corinthians 13. 1 Corinthians 12 is you are the body of Christ and individually members of it. And then Paul goes on to talk about the different parts needing one another. After that, 1 Corinthians 13 is the verse that a lot of people have read at weddings. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not arrogant or boastful or rude, and talking about how we need to love one another. Paul talking about, to the Corinthians, about this meal. So he starts off, because the Corinthians are eating this meal every Sunday. They're doing communion every Sunday, and the way they practiced it was more like a covered dish lunch than it was just a little bit of bread and wine. But it was Paul instructs them. That I upset somebody who brings green pea salad. Is that you, Sherry? I'm so sorry. So Paul writes this letter to say, this meal is about building up community. The whole point of it is that everybody can eat together around the same table. That everybody is equal. Everybody gets a share of the gifts of the kingdom. Nobody is turned away hungry. Everybody becomes part of one community. That's what Paul is doing when he gets to that part about you are the body of Christ. He is saying, when you come to this table, recognize that we are all different, but we are all part of one body. And so we've talked about community this morning, and I want to invite you as you come forward to receive communion this morning to think about not just you getting bread and wine, but to recognize that we are all sharing this meal together. That's what this is a table that God and Jesus Christ invites us to share in together, to make us one, prepared for us to share in this feast this morning. Come and join in this feast together. If the elders who are serving would please come forward, and then in just a moment I'll invite you to come up. There is, I apologize, I never remember mine. And then if you'll return down the side. fun song, but I also want to encourage you to, the line over and over is, soon and very soon we are going to see the King. Well, that's that language that Paul uses in talking about that you are the body of Christ. In Christ's absence on the earth, that is the church. And so think about how it is helpful to you, but I like to sing this and think about soon and very soon we are encountering the community of Christ over again in new ways, in life-giving ways. And so let me invite us to stand and sing together our closing hymn, 3-8, soon and very soon.
Sing verses 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4.
All right, apparently... So in that same letter to the Corinthians, Paul talks about the church being the body of Christ, and then he talks about the bread that we share being the body of Christ. And then about 500 years later, Augustine comes along and encourages people to go out into the world to be what you have received, the body of Christ for the world. So my encouragement to you today is to go out from this place into the world to be that which you have received in the bread. To be the body of Christ in the world around you. Friends, beloved in Christ, you come to meet you. May the wind blow always at your back. May we meet again. May God